So a lot of people ask me why I love storage. And first of all, there is no toilets, no tenants, no employees, and less issues and more cash flow. And so I want you guys to take a look at every single unit here is making over $110. And so if someone wanted to leave, right, you would backfill that now at $125. So you are constantly increasing your net operating income, which means your purchase price is going to be always larger. So let's talk about, like, right now, how many different income streams do you think storage has? So storage has, you are renting out units, you're renting out RV and boat spots, you're renting out, it could be land for an ice machine. And then also, we just actually filled one of the offices with a business owner who pays us $1,000 per month. So there's multiple ways you can have revenue streams in self-storage, and that is actually what increases your purchase price and what makes you have cash flow as well as commercial real estate and depreciation. So I think a lot of people think that they say that self-storage is oversupplied and that it is oversaturated, which means that there's a lot of people jumping into storage right now. And I say, yeah, you can think that. Or you can be like, hey, what are the real facts? And I want to talk to, this is how my self-storage school students get the best deals, is because they're not worried about the noise of people that are in analysis paralysis and will never do anything. They are actually looking at the 5 rules of 5, which is the market, right? So the market 5 rules of 5 are this. So number 1 is we like to look for, okay, storage facilities in a market area from, 5,000 people all the way up to maybe like 180,000 people. Like, that is the sweet spot. And this normally is in 3rd or 4th tier markets, which means it's on the outskirts of growth. Like, we're not in the main metropolitan areas. We're looking on these outskirts of growth where they're the smaller areas, smaller towns, right? So we do not, number 2 is we do not want to compete with REITs. And so REITs are big institutions that come in with money and they actually buy out these storage facilities. And so we want to make sure that we're not competing with CubeSmart storage, LifeSpace, and then also making sure that we are going after these mom and pop owners. And so number 4 is we have to make sure that the population is growing, right? So we want to buy a storage facility where people are moving to. So movement actually helps self-storage. And so when people are moving, people are needing to store their things. And so we never want to buy a facility in areas that the population decreases. And then number 5 is we always like to look at, like the medium household income. Like, can people actually afford to pay a monthly tenant charge of maybe $110, right? And so normally that sweet range is, where is cities that are 50,000, where they are making a medium of household income of $50,000 or more. So right now, self-storage is becoming more well-known, but there's still 65% of storage owners are mom and pop owners. And so what is the opportunity on the table right now? That means that these mom and pop owners don't have websites, they're not sophisticated, and there's a lot of revenue to be had. There's money on the table, right? And these are the facilities that we want to buy right now in 2026. And so coming in right now, banks are coming in, it's consolidation, people are buying them with big equity firms, but the 65% are the ones that my storage school students are going for. And so most people are thinking about looking in, certain big MSAs like Sacramento or Raleigh, North Carolina, when in fact you want to be on the outskirts, right? So we don't want to compete with Public Storage or CubeSmart. We want to go find those mom and pop owners that are unsophisticated, that are on the outskirts of this growth. And so what we look for is called the market rule of 5s. And so there are 5 things that we look for in order to kind of look at, hey, yeah, this market actually looks good. So number 1, we like to look at 3rd tier markets with a population of between 8,000 people all the way to about 180,000 people. Like, that's the sweet spot where we won't have as many REITs. And what is number 2? A REIT is, we want to stay far away from REITs. So REITs are like Public Storage, Extra Space, CubeSmart. These are big equity groups that come out and take everyone's money and go buy than institutions, right? So we do not want to compete with them. The third thing that we look for is we want to make sure that there is a high medium household income, right? So that they can constantly be okay with paying us rent each month. And so we're always looking for a medium household income greater than like $50,000 is kind of that nice little sweet spot. And then the last thing that we kind of look for is the supply and demand of that 5-mile radius. It's a business, self-storage is a business, and so we have to treat it like a business. So making sure that like the self-storage almanac says if anything is greater than 8 square feet per capita, it could indicate, right, that could like a sniff test, that it might be oversupplied. But we always like to check. So these are just key pieces that we like to look for when we look at what is a good market and can we actually make money with a self-storage facility that we purchase from now to 3 to 5 to 10 years later on. So self-storage really has changed my life. We own over $6 million worth of self-storage facilities and about 100,000 square feet. And so I think the big thing that really has changed my life is that it's time freedom, right? It's time freedom with my daughter. And so what's beautiful about self-storage that not a lot of people know or think about is that we rent space. Like we literally just rent space. And so this is a cinder block building and a roll-up door with a concrete floor, and every single month they pay us. And so it's very much a sticky subscription-based business where if you have one tenant leave, you're okay because you have 210 more, right? And so self-storage is something that a lot of people need in an up market, a down market, and a sideways market. And so this is something that a lot of people don't think about because 1 in 8 people use storage in their lifetime. And so they call this like the 4 Ds, which is death, divorce, disaster, and then also like decluttering. And so this is how people use storage now to this day, is because they've got a lot of stuff. Like Americans, like we love stuff. Amazon just came to my house, dropped off like 5 packages for Black Friday. And so what happens with all these things that you have in your house is most people store them for seasons like holidays and all certain stuff. And then when they come back, they come out and they use different things at certain times. So people would rather put their stuff in a 10 by 10. And when you come in and buy it and increase the prices, maybe once every 7 to 12 months, a lot of tenants are sticky and they will not take their stuff, move their stuff from a 10 by 10 on a random Saturday, take a U-Haul to go down to another storage facility to go there for a cheaper price. They're gonna stay, right? So that is a very sticky client. And that is how self-storage, we're able to increase rates slowly and surely, and so gaining cash flow over time, which increases your net operating income. So this is why self-storage is incredible, is because there's multiple revenue streams and you can use this over and over again, no matter where you are in a market.